Hello, everybody. I am very, very excited for this conversation today. We are going to be talking about expansion and alignment. One of my baddie mastermind girlies in one of the other spaces that I am personally in, she is going to come join me today, and we are going to be talking all about navigating expansion and alignment. And we're going to talk about probably the unsexy versions of navigating expansion and alignment, because so much on social media we see the highlight reel. We all know this, right? That's the point, right? That is literally the point. Hello. Danny is going to be joining me any minute now, but feel free to hang on tight, be a part of the conversation. We would love to have you. Hey, but what I was saying about social media is so much of the time, it is the highlight reel. And it's talking about how glamorous it is on your boat, when you're vacationing, when you're playing with your toddler at Toddler Open Gym, and doing all of these things. But it does not show what it took to get there. It doesn't show the hard parts. And that's a big part of my story. That is a big thing that I talk about with myself and my clients and all over the place, because learning through those lived experiences and getting through them is what has made me so successful. That is what has gotten me to where I am today. So my business journey did not turn out the way that I thought it did, and I don't think really anyone's does. But whenever you have like that little entrepreneurial bug, whenever you have that little thing inside of you, you cannot simply ignore it. You just cannot. And I'm really excited for this conversation. So I am going to add on Danny. So good and juicy, really raw, and all of the things. Let me see. Danny should be popping on at any second.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. How are you doing, babes?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
Good. I'm good. I have a toddler here at home, so he may be popping in shirtless. So,
Love that.
who knows?
Yes. Mine just walked by with my mom. She's gonna take him to the park. He just walked by. I was like, okay, bye.
Peace out, deuces.
Yeah.
We spent the morning at Toddler Open Gym, so I'm hoping that his energy was spent, and now Spidey and friends can kind of get us through.
Okay. Yes. And my dog, I'm gonna put my dog out. He has to talk to everybody. He literally has.
Oh, what was that, Golden Doodle?
Yeah. He literally has to have conversations through the window at everybody. You go out there.
Jennifer, how many kids do you have? How old are they? Jennifer says that she feels that toddler life too. Girl, it'd be rough. I've got a 5 and a 3-year-old, and when I tell you, I feel like I'm literally in the trenches at all points of my life. It's for real.
Yeah. Are they boy and girl, or what do you have?
I have 2 boys.
2 boys.
They're both rowdy. They're literally exactly 2 years apart by like 2 days. So
I feel that. She has 3, 5, 3.5, and 19 months. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Mine are 11, 8, and 4, but it's boy, girl, boy.
Okay.
And after having boy, girl, I prayed that baby number 3 was a girl, and we popped the gender thing, and it was blue, and I was like, dang it.
Girl, gender disappointment is a whole other topic that people do not talk about.
They'd be crazy. They're crazy.
It is.
They don't stop. They don't stop. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am so grateful that we were both able to carve out some time to have this conversation today, because I think it is so freaking important to talk about navigating the expansion and alignment, because a lot of times we might feel like we're expanding and in alignment when we quite literally are not. And it is the exact opposite. And for me, I know that's been my story. What about you? Have you kind of felt that thing as well?
Yeah. Well, I feel like there's also the discussion of what you did feel in alignment with early on in your life might not be where you are now. And that's kind of the journey that I was on, because it was my dad was an entrepreneur. He has his own restaurant for 53 years. So I've seen the highs and lows of owning a brick and mortar business, amazing, but also so many headaches, so many headaches. Like someone forgot to shut the door all the way and the alarm's going off and the UCR, like is the campus nearby, like UCR police are there and it's 10 p.m. and he's got to go, or like there's a leak or someone doesn't show up. Like there's so many things with that. I was like, I want to go the opposite way. I'm going to go like the strict path. I'm going to get my bachelor's. I'm going to apply for my master's. I have my master's in speech and language. That's what I do. As I work with little kids with speech disorders. And so it was like, I knew my paycheck. I knew that I worked 10 months out of the year. Like we're almost to summer break. Hallelujah. Like being on the same schedule as my kids has been so, so helpful. But over the like, can you post this? And I'm like, just a minute. I got to go live.
I gotta
go live. Yeah, so like I did all the things really like typical. And for so long, this was the career that I absolutely loved and aligned with. But I feel like baby number 3 just like tipped the scales. And so he's turned 4. So it's been like a lot of like 3 or 4 years of me going like, okay, I don't know, like this doesn't feel good to show up to work every day. Like I have the Sunday scaries. I've got this like pull where I'm teaching all day long and have like all this fun energy and creativity with students, and then I come home and I have nothing left for my own kids. And I'm like, but like their childhood, they're only going to have a childhood for so long. I don't want to be this mom anymore. And it's like, how do I navigate this shift of like a full career change? And it's like, okay, I don't want to pour into other people's kids anymore and have nothing left for my own kids. But like, it feels like selfish to say that a little bit too. And it's like, that was the path that I thought that I would do till I'm 60 and I'm 38 and I work part-time. So like the retirement, I wouldn't be able to actually retire till I'm 62. And I'm like, that's 24 more years. No, like I can't do that. I cannot do that. The thought of that like makes me just like want to like stab my eyes out with dull scissors.
Dull scissors.
Yeah, like the kid scissors, like just Um, so then just feeling unaligned and not knowing what to do because I've seen the entrepreneur journey be so not type A, so unpredictable. And so I've like been dabbling over the years. I did network marketing and it was fun because it was like I just got like a little bit of the responsibility because it was like you're commission based from the company that has all the overhead. And so I was like, okay. And then about a year and a half, I started to see the power of coaching and digital products and online offers. And I didn't even know that this world existed until a year and a half ago. I was like, wait, what? Like, this has been so cool. And so there's just so much learning along the way. Like, you're never going to stop learning. You're going to discover what you're more aligned with, but it's not going to be this like cool as a cucumber path of like just success. It's like, woo, and I'm sure you already shared a little bit of that too. But it's like, how do we like stay in this zone when it is so unpredictable?
Yeah.
And you're just like, sometimes I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. So like, how do you stay grounded and on the path when you feel like, oh my gosh, there's a million things going on top of motherhood, on top of all of it?
Oh my God, this is literally something I talk about in my membership, with my private one-on-one girlies. I talk about this a lot, and I'm going to tell you 2 things. I'm going to talk about the power of the underdog and then the power lever. So this power of the underdog, this is so funny because this came from whenever me and my hubby were playing a video game. It was a baseball game called Super Mega Baseball 4. And we just play this on Sundays usually. And I have this, I'm going to say habit. I don't know what the word is, but I will quite literally be trashed. I put 0 points on the board the entire game. And then from innings 7 to 9, I will fucking crush it. Like, I'm talking 15 points up on the board, and then I come back and win it. Literally, probably like 92% of the time. Like, it is to the point where we could hustle somebody at a bar and be like, oh, she's terrible, blah, 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 and then come and crush and make $2,000. Like, it is at that skill. So I've broken this down. I'm like, okay, what is the shift here? Why does this happen? And why is this relevant, right? Well, my skill didn't change. My motivation didn't change. my like awareness and focus didn't change, but the only thing that did change was the pressure and the innings 7 to 9. That's when things got like real. You're like, okay, girl, if you really want to win, which us entrepreneurially girlies do, we're that's the point. That's the point of entrepreneurship is you gotta win or else you're not gonna have a business. So we like to win. So the pressure would jack up and then my motivation and energy would skyrocket, and that's what takes me to the end. So that now brings me to the power lever, which is what I always talk about. You need to find that thing that you can channel that energy, that 7 to 9 inning energy, whatever that is for you. If you can figure out how that feels in your body, feel it, and figure out how to channel that and exist in that, that will be what can pull you through. That's that power lever. Where if you're on a day where like, blah, I don't want to do this, I don't want to post, I don't want to show up, or oh my God, that imposter syndrome is kicking in, I'm worried about posting too much. I've already posted in this big group 5 times this week. People are going to judge the fuck out of me. Like, no, pull that power lever and we're going to get back on track, because we have a tunnel vision a lot of times, and it's either right or it's wrong. And that's not how it is, especially in entrepreneurship. And I have led the master class and doing all the wrong things and all the right things and learning in between. That's literally how I teach, from lived and learned experience. I combine all of my education, all of my formal training with everything that I've put into action, which is why I'm where I am today. So I think really channeling that power of the underdog and that power lever is really what kind of gets me through.
Ooh, I like that. I love that. That's super cool.
It's fun. I don't know. And it's so funny because I tend to find motivation and lessons and just truths about the universe in everyday life. Like in my membership the other day, I dropped this really unhinged training about a garbage disposal. And I'm like, y'all, hear me out. Okay, I know this is wild, but hear me out, And it's funny because every individual has their own different thing, and their own different superpower. I think that that's mine. Is I'm inspired by life in general, and my core values. I literally have them like posted right here. We just kind of moved, so I'm not finished unpacking yet. But my core values are fun, freedom, creativity, inspiration, community, and sharing, and that's it. Like everything that I do runs through those lenses, and it's all in alignment with that superpower.
Yeah, I just actually talked about that very similar thing on my stories today about how the way that you can get better at messaging and storytelling is by just like literally turning on your awareness and looking and seeing stories that can relate all throughout your day. And yeah, like garbage disposal somehow has a lesson in it, but it's like, it's all about that creativity side, which I love. And so I've been doing that a lot lately too. And I love it because when you're doing that and you're tying your lived experiences into a story with a lesson, it always has to tie back to your offer or whatever it is that you're trying to teach. It can't just be about garbage disposals unless like you're a plumber, maybe.
Right.
But when you tie that back, it's literally like no one else can copy that. That's your story. That's your lived experience. And so in a world where everyone's turning to AI, and I don't have a problem with using AI like that, but not as like the sole source of your copy and your message, right, your messaging, because it just literally, I can smell Chat GPT from like a mile away. Like I'm like a bloodhound. I'm like, so I think I'm going to be launching, I'm like in the process of like some sort of storytelling, like uncopyable content that is like not AI. And the only way that you could do that is through your storytelling lens. And then the psychology behind it is that I could tell you like, you need to do this, this, and this, or I could tell a story of how I've done this, this, and this, or my client, or a new client that I've worked with, how I led her through that. And that's going to stick way better than just like teaching you 1, 2, and 3. And that's been a learning experience for me because I'm kind of the other way. I'm like the sciencey person who's not necessarily used to storytelling, because I'm like, just give me the facts. And I'm like, but then I think about myself and the mentors that I've worked with. It's the stories that they tell that I'm like, literally, like that's what sticks. And it's like, we need to do this more often, because there's no way that Chat GPT can do that. It can try, and there's probably is going to be better, smarter tools out there, but to turn on your awareness and tie everything that you're experiencing into your content makes you stand out, makes you uncopyable and super relatable.
Right, and that kind of goes back to this phrase that I constantly say in my spaces is that no one can do what you do better than you do because no one is you. Like, that's it, period. No one can copy that. And I think that that's a big part of expansion is learning how to stretch that identity of who you are and make that be that core message and come through it. Like, if you go through and scroll way far down, because prior to being fully in the coaching space, I built a wedding brand, scaled it internationally. I got my products into 47 retailers all around the world, and did wholesale and individual brides and did a bunch of stuff, and it was freaking cool on the outside. Like, it looked so successful. And what's so fun is, like, I have my trademark right here, sitting right here. So, like, I went through the process. I've got the credentials. I have all of that. But I thought that business was my book. Like, I thought that was what I was put on the planet to do. And there's literally a point, at least when in my experience and so many experiences of my clients, and I don't know if you relate to this at all, but where strategy will not work. It will not work if you are out of alignment. And until you can figure it out that you are out of alignment, it is not going to work. And I will preface that by not working, that does not mean you're not making money. I was absolutely making money, but it was hard freaking money. And I was up really late. I was resentful, and I did not want to do it anymore. And then there came this breaking point. It was May, and I had done this big, massive launch. I had just designed this custom pajama set called the Romblé. It was a romper and overlay set. You could wear it with jeans and wear it out. It's incredible. It really was. I went and found my manufacturing and did all of that stuff. Went and prepped 17 weeks of launch emails. I did this whole campaign. I found my manufacturer. I was going to order 3,000 of them. All of this stuff come pre-launch, nobody bought shit. I was like, there is no way. There is no way. I have 3,000 people on this email list at that point, ideal clients of brides who have opted in to learn more about this product. And I go and I make it, and I've been sharing the journey. My email rates, open rates are 50%. My click rates are 30%. Like, everything is working on paper. Everything says that it was right. And then I go and launch, no one buys, and I'm like, wow. Wow. Like, that really was probably one of the biggest breaking points in my life, because I was like, what the actual fuck? Like, what actually is happening right now? And I realized it was a protection, because literally 2 weeks after that, my manufacturer dropped out. So had I had sold 3,000 of them, I would have actually been screwed. So thank the Lord, thank the universe, it was, protection. But that was really a breaking point for me, where I took a step back. I was like, okay, what am I meant to be doing right now? Because this doesn't make sense. And at that point, I was building the company, and I was doing business strategy and management and being a coach behind the scenes. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna shut down the wedding company. I'm gonna shut it down. I said it out loud at a retreat, and that weekend I booked 3 new one-on-one clients. And then between the last 2 months of the year, I doubled my total yearly revenue from that shift and just deciding to shut it down. My energy suck was gone, and I was now able to fully step into the person that I was hiding behind. I was hiding behind this wedding business because I thought that was my purpose. I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. I've always loved business. I've been in business since I was legit 12. That's when I had my first company from this company called first offer from this company called Davidson Industries. I made a banana snack. Anyway, and I had been hiding, thinking that I was meant to have this wedding business. But my passion, the core root of everything that I've always loved since I was little, was business, and sharing that with other people and community, and being independent, living on my own, and doing all of that. So then really releasing that and stepping into it, I now realize, okay, that was a chapter of my book. That was not the book in general. So now over these past few years, I have been in this massive, expansive space where I'm learning how to speak my own voice. Because for a long time, I was posting on social with the wedding company. I was like, I don't give a shit about these PJs. I do not give a shit about PJs. I will wear a 12-year-old massive t-shirt that has holes in it with paint stains on it and hair bleach I'm not going to wear the button-up pajamas. Like, I'm just not. So it's hard for me to sell that, So I was out of alignment and energetically just out of whack.
Yeah, but like all of that has taught you lessons along the way that you bring into your business, which I think is so important because one of my mentors said, whatever the thing that you do now, like the thing that gets you there won't be what sustains you. And so you have to be okay with that uncertainty and leaning into like trying different things. You might try and book out one-on-one calls or one-on-one mentorship and realize you love it, or maybe that you'd feel so drained and you'd rather deliver your message in a group of 4, 6, 8, or 10, but there's no way to know until you get in there and you start doing it. And I think that's what makes it fun, is like, well, I've never done this before. How do I do it right? You don't know. And it might not be right, but you get to decide because it's your business and you get to try. There is no right way. There's no wrong way. There's just your way. Yeah. Your way is the way, as long as you feel like it's the way and you feel aligned and you're okay with trial and error. And I think that is so important because I think just in our society we want instant gratification. Right. We want to have it figured out, and we want to make sure we don't fail for fear of like people pleasing, letting others down, letting ourselves down. But like you said, with your story of like the time that you worked the absolute hardest, you had, I don't remember how many emails you had like for that launch, but like that sounds like a ton of work, and it totally flopped. Yeah. And I have a very similar story with a Black Friday launch that I did. And I had emails like all prepped, and I had a different sale that I was going to drop each day of the Black Friday, like of Thanksgiving week. So I had 5 offers. And then on Monday, on Cyber Monday, I was going to bring all 5 back. Right. And so leading up to it, I made a few sales right before as like pre-sale. And then the week hit, I literally did not make a single sale, and I had never worked harder. Like, it was the hardest that I worked. It felt rushed. It felt built like on a huge foundation of hustle. And I realized, shit, I never want to do that again. Like, that was not fun. And then the next offer that I launched a month later that I really like just poured like my heart into, was super detached from the outcome, like sold out, like oversold more than I thought that I ever thought. And it was like, you know what? Now my failure is such a beautiful lesson for myself, but for my clients. Like, how can I walk them through a failed launch if I haven't, gone through that? So now, I just think there's so much power in going through everything that happens to you is for a reason, and there's a lesson. And you might not see it in the moment. It's kind of like looking back and going, oh, that's why that happened. Oh, that's why your launch failed, because your manufacturer was going to go under 2 weeks. Like, right. Everything happens for a reason. And we just have to, we can't grip so tightly on the outcome and force it, because really when we let go, we can't even imagine, the most unimaginable results can actually happen when we're not trying to force it and predict everything. Just be present and be in the now.
That's absolutely true. And I love that you were talking about the detachment of the outcome. That is so huge. And for people, especially who are starting out, who haven't been through the ringer and who haven't clued into that piece of the detachment, for me, someone had to literally say, you have to detach from this. I feel like it's almost against biology. We don't want to detach because we've created it. It came out of our minds. It automatically means it's about us if it doesn't do well, right? I didn't work hard enough. This offer wasn't good enough. My messaging was off. It's all coming down to that root thing of the not good enoughness. And if you can remove that and just say, it's not about you, girl. It's quite literally not about you. Stop being that way, because it's not. It's about the other people on the other side of the screen, on the other side of the email, on the other side of your table that you're having a conversation with, and where they are based on their own lens and their own perspective. For me, a lot of the girls that opted into that email list, yeah, they wanted to know, but they probably wanted it for their wedding. And did manufacturing take a long time? Yeah. So were some of them probably already married? Yeah. It really wasn't about me, because I did everything that I knew that I could. So now, what do you do when you do have a flop? That's what freaking matters, because an entrepreneur is someone who gets up and goes again and keeps running over and over, because it's a person that doesn't stop and that's relentless in their conviction and what they're doing, that's gonna win. Because if you just don't stop, there's no way that something's not going to stick. And then it's that whole journey and that evolution that people come along the ride for. And then once that thing sticks, you're going to the moon, right? And I think that that's just so key to touch on.
And it's like, it's annoying. Like we all say it. I've heard it 1,000 times, just detach from the outcome. By no means am I saying that that is an easy thing to do. And it is
Right.
something that like you have to constantly work at, because like you want to open your computer and like refresh
Oh,
your sales and like see, but like you
yeah.
gotta stop. Like it's not something that comes easy to me, at least.
Yeah.
And I'm something I'm like constantly working at. And I'm just picturing, like, I know that the right people will come into my offers when they're ready.
Yeah.
And detaching from the outcome, but having this knowing that your success is inevitable.
Yeah.
Like, girl, you're going to get there. But the timeline that you have in here is probably not going to be how it is. It could be better, it could be worse, it could happen faster, it could happen slower. But just know success is yours.
Yeah.
You just don't know the time. And that we just have to like let go of that, because then we can actually like bend time. Like it can go like, and then all of a sudden things go really fast. And like that's momentum. That's how that success compounds, but it's just not going to be on your timeline, and that's not easy to come to terms with. At least for me, it's not.
No, it's not. And it gets to the point where you're like, okay, this isn't working. This isn't working. At what point do you stop and try something else? And at what point do you keep going? And that's where that self-trust, that intuition piece comes in. And that's also something that has to be built. I had not an ounce of intuition when I first started. So years ago, when I was making my little granana bites and stuff, I was just flying by the seat of my pants. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to buy an MLM. And I went and bought energy drinks and sold those to my friends and probiotics to their parents, because that makes sense. And I'm just flowing by the ebbs and the flows, right? There was nothing on the line for that. But then once I got into my big girl business, the one that actually was putting up like fat stacks, now I need to learn some intuition, because I'm actually having to make some big decisions here. And I'm having a lot bigger gambles and a lot bigger risks that I now have to figure out, okay, am I okay losing this? Like, if I put money, 10 grand into this XYZ, whatever it is, what if nothing comes from it? Is that okay? Did I still learn something? Absolutely. So for me, I do not believe in a bad investment at all. You cannot tell me that I've wasted my money on anything. I don't give a shit if I'm negative in it and I made not one sale from a mastermind that I joined or a course or whatever, because no matter what, my intuition led me there to learn something. So whether I learned that I didn't like that model of, memberships. So I just had this experience where I bought into a group program to learn how to run extremely profitable memberships from two of the biggest membership builders in the entire world and one of the founders of one of the biggest social media companies in the world. And I got all the way through this. I was like, this does not feel aligned for me at all. Essentially, they were like, take a course and then make it a membership because you're offering support of the course. I'm like, okay, that was frustrating, but, there was one piece of information that I learned from there, literally one thing that I constantly used over and over again, and it was the definition of value. And how value equals it's like a fraction. Value equals the percent certainty that their person is going to get the desired result divided by the amount of time and effort that it takes them to get there. That is value. And that has come so freaking helpful in everything. I love that definition. It has changed how I do a lot of things. But other than that, I was like, okay, I didn't really learn anything different. So it solidified the knowledge that I did have. It kind of reinforced that confidence I have in myself. But I could have been like, well, goddamn, I just lost $6,000. Like, again, it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, if you really believe in what you're doing, you're going to make it back 200 times later. Like, it's fine. I saw a post from Alex Hormozy, and he was like, your first 100K loss is what's going to fund your $1 million win, or something along those lines, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not freaking easy. You have to be willing to take these risks and willing to risk it friggin' all and be so detached, like, okay, like, you know, people think it's crazy to say this, and like regular people that aren't in this space do not understand it. Those who, and you have a 9 to 5 still, but those who have a 9 to 5, they can't live their lives like that. Like, it's actually not possible. So I think there's like a big disconnect there, especially for people who have the entrepreneurial bug and they want to make a leap, but they just like can't.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they can, but they're choosing not
Right,
to.
girl. Let's get on that soapbox. I
Yeah.
swear, everything is a freaking choice.
Yeah.
And you know, it's so funny. I always joke about to my husband. I'm like, oh, why do I have to be the person that I say I'm gonna be? Why do I have to do this? Like, if I get up and I don't want to go work out, I'm like, oh my god. I told myself I was gonna go to Heartworks today, and I don't want to go, but I have to be the person that I say I am.
Yeah.
So goddamn, I gotta
Yep.
go.
Yep.
You know.
I love
No,
that.
because it's fun.
Right.
It's not fun having to be the embodied version of yourself all the time.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Yeah, you've got to move through the sludge to get to the other side. Yeah. And I think what you said is like, there's lessons in everything, and if you're going to make the investment, then go all in, and maybe you learn that that's not the way that you want to run your programs. That's still learning.
Yes.
But if you come from this place of like, what am I going to get, then you're not going to get anything. It's like, what can I give to the group? Maybe you make some really great connections in community. Maybe the lesson in the courses that you received and that you went through, maybe those don't align, but like there's always two sides to the coin. And I think I've worked with misaligned clients before that are on the other side, and it's so draining, and they're never going to, that type of person is never going to see the results. And not to like Debbie down and like put that person down. That person can make a choice to become the other side. Like, all of that is a choice, but you can continue to make excuses as to why something's not working, why you can't do that, why you haven't recorded the course that we've mapped out that we talked about for months in our one-on-one together, and you still haven't done it because of XYZ. Or you can make shit happen. Like, you can literally you can make shit happen. But I also want to just bring up 1.2 was how we were talking about like the timeline, detaching from the timeline and knowing your success is inevitable. That doesn't mean that you're just like sitting on your floaty in the pool just going like, well, my success is it's gonna happen. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, bring me right here.
Yeah, bring me a margarita. I'll bring you the margarita, but you're still going to need to like look at the data and probably tweak some things or plug into mentorship.
Yes.
And mentorship is literally like what has saved me. Of course, you're in business by yourself. You get to do that by yourself, but it's probably going to take you like freaking long time if you don't value yourself and the timeline of where you want to go enough to invest in yourself. I have made not too many. I've made so many investments in myself in the last year that don't make sense logically, but like in my heart, they do.
Yeah.
In my heart, it's like, well, my business hasn't made enough money to make that kind of investment. So I'm not. Well, that's actually the exact reason that I should. That's the reason why I moved, because I'm not there yet. How will I ever get there if I don't put myself in the rooms and learn from the people that have walked the walk that I want to go?
Right.
And to those group of people, my investment makes so much freaking sense. To my husband, honestly, it doesn't make sense to him. Yeah. He's like, I'll just tell one more story and then we can wrap it up. But the investment that I wanted to make for a really big group that I joined a month ago was the same amount that I need to put down. My car, I love to lease cars. I like new cars. And so the down payment for the car that I want was the same amount that I needed to invest in this mentorship. And he's like, no, just like get your dream car. And I'm like, and it's a Lexus. It's like a beautiful Lexus. And I was like, you know what, babe? I'm like, I'm the effing Lexus. I'm the Lexus.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, that car can wait. I'm the Lexus. I'm the investment. And so we took that funds and put it towards me and a year long of mentorship, and it was the best decision. But it's just like, you got to choose, and you got to make the investments, make the choices that don't make sense. But those are the ones I was just like, that's the story I'm going to tell on stage one day.
Yes.
That's how you got to look at it.
That's the thing, and that's the embodiment piece. And It's really huge. Like, I've gotten to the point where I just make investments. I don't think I've ever really discussed any of my investments with my husband. He's so detached from my business. He's like, as long as we're not running it to the ground, like, I trust you, it's fine. Sure, I've got hella debt, which is fine. Everyone does. One of the COO boss babe, I asked her, I was at a meeting with her, and she was like, I have $1 million in debt. It's getting paid. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's fine. It's literally a tool that you use to get to the end destination faster. And everyone loves to talk about collapsing time, and that's great. And I, for the longest time, I did not understand what that meant. I feel like that is just such a, like, what the fuck, what does that even mean, right? The point of collapsing time is paying somebody for their knowledge to teach you how to do something quicker than you trying to figure out what it is you need to learn, and then figuring out how to do it, and then figuring out how to implement it in your business. Learning all of that at once from one person, collapse time. That's what that means. That is why I go so hard in my mentorship. I think I'm like 25, 30 grand in at this point for the year. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you. I have no clue. And I always have to avoid hopping on webinars and shit because I will buy whatever the fuck it is. I just will. Because entrepreneurship is quite literally the biggest addiction creator for personal development you will ever have in your life. Because you have to become the person that can hold all of that and who isn't afraid of the risk, who will take astronomically scary action in order to get to the thing. Because, like you said, it does not just happen to you. I've had people who've reached out to me and they're like, girl, I know I want to work with you. I just don't have the money. One of them, I met with them in person the other day, which I do not do in person meetings, but I happen to be in town. And she was like, I am still at the same place that I was 6 months ago when we talked. I'm like, she's like, I just don't have the money. I'm like, girl, if you are telling yourself that you just don't have the money, what are you going to do about it? Like, what are you actually going to do? She's like, well, I don't know what to do. I don't have credit. Can't ask my husband. I can't do this. I said, go sell your furniture. Sell your clothes. Like, if you want it bad enough, you will figure it out. I have had to do that. I do a lot of credit stacking with credit cards, balance transfers, and all that stuff. Yes, it gets wild. Yes, my bookkeeper wants to claw my eyes out. But it's what I'm doing, and it's a strategy that gets me the things that I want to do so that I can be way more successful than I was, 2 years ago. Right? That's the thing. It's the willingness to do the things and to be brave about it and to have that faith in yourself that what you're doing is the right thing. And I think so many people are missing that self-faith, which is missing the bravery, which you're missing the courage, which then you're missing the competence that comes from having courage and confidence and all of those things. It's a big whole cycle. And that's what we do in my fire starter framework is we work through all of those things to get you to the point of having the business that you're wanting, because most of the time it's these mental blocks that you can't get behind because it's really easy to come up with excuses like I don't have money. Oh, I don't have money. It's not in the bank account. Okay, and what now? Do you hear him yelling? Yes, babe.
Hi.
Okay. Okay, yes. Okay, I'm going to take you with me. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I think the other thing that came to mind was just the fact that you have to be of the mindset where the cost of not taking action and staying exactly where you are, you have to see that as a bigger risk
Yes.
than going for it. And if you don't, then you're not ready, and you might never be. But if you want to if you just want to like keep sitting on the sidelines, then cool, enjoy your little comfort zone. But know that great success, great impact, great income is never going to happen until you step out of that comfort zone, until you do the thing that scares you.
Oh, I love that. And it's true. And it's the hard truth that people just do not want to talk about. And they don't want to admit it either because it's having to take personal responsibility. And they're now the reason why they don't have the things they want. And granted, we're not saying you go and make these investments and you're going to go make your money back. Like, you really might not. Like, that's the reality. But if you don't try, you never will. If you don't ask for the thing, it's always a no.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the truth in it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's messy. It's scary. It's everything. But sitting back and like working another 24 years till I'm 62 and then starting to live my life, like, no, I don't want to do that anymore.
And, one of the things that I tell my husband, and he just doesn't understand this, is I tell him, I love business in itself. So I don't have to be coaching, which I love coaching. I'm never going to not be coaching. But I have other things that I invest in. I want real estate properties, and he doesn't want one piece of that. And I said, okay, I do though. So I'm going to do that. You can do whatever it is you want to do, right? You don't have to do the same things your partner does either.
Yeah.
But you can have a diverse portfolio. Most people do. And I did a whole big training inside of my Spotlight Society yesterday talking about scalable and rotatable offers and how having an offer that's scalable is typically something on the lower ticket. You can take and put ads to and funnel and just blast out to the masses and go for volume. And then rotatable offers are different offers that allow you the flexibility to shift your business and focus at different points in your life based on what you need. So if you need to be home more, maybe you focus more on your one-on-one coaching. And then if you need, you want more community engagement, you focus on a mastermind or an event or something like that. And having offers that rotate is so key because now you have a full offer suite that gives you so much power and flexibility. But that can look like digital products, like coaching, like investments, like stocks, like real estate, like anything. It doesn't have to be one and the same thing. You can have multiple different things.
Yeah. And that like the longevity of that to have everything diversified is very smart. Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yes. Well, this was so much fun.
I
I'm so
love it. I love it. I love it. Where can people find you? Do you have a website? Do you have any free offers? Anything like that going on?
Yes. I have 2 fun free offers. I have a free community called Magic Makers, and it's in Telegram, so you can comment magic, and I will send you the info for that. And then I also have a free masterclass called Uncover Your Magic. So basically figuring out what you're really good at, what your zone of genius is, and if it's maybe not what you have higher level degrees on, like mine. I'm not creating anything in the teaching in the speech and language niche, but I'm taking what my knowledge with 15 years in the classroom and channeling it into a teacher coach situation. So there is so many ways that you can color outside the lines, and that's what we do inside of Uncover My Magic. What about you?
Yeah. So I have a free community called the Hollywood Effect where you can pop in as a free 7-day challenge where you are going to go through a 7-day boldness boot camp for baddies and essentially really reigniting that fire and stepping into that confidence. Women that have gone through this 7-day challenge, all the audio is already in there. You can go and binge them in one day if you want, or sit down, go through the workbook and really meditate on it and do the visualizations, all of that. The girls who went in there literally made more in one day than they did in their entire month prior. So it's really incredible. I also have a free fire starter blueprint where you can go through kind of my framework and kind of see the process that we work through, which is really cool. And then if you're looking for something a little bit more high touch or whatever, I do have my Spotlight Society membership, so I would love to have you guys in there. I drop trainings every single day, and we have a live coaching call every single month. I think I'm actually breaking that up into 2 calls a month now, one in a morning day and then one at night. So for the girlies that do have those 9 to 5s that are making that transition, it will be really great for them as well.
Yay! That's so awesome! Woohoo!
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me and hopping on this live and chatting. And I am going to take this and download it, and I will upload it either onto our feeds or on Facebook or emails or whatever. Okay. And we will blast it out from there.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, girl.